Hi everyone, my name is Kyra. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make this Kirby out of air dry clay, cosplay foam, acrylic paint, wood, and actually a little foam ball. He was only my second clay project that I've ever done. I actually made him like 6 or 8 months ago or something like that. I just haven't gotten to the video, so when you see me start, I'm going to have different hair and then different hair again throughout the video. Those of you who watch me, I know I have some expert sculpture makers and expert clay sculpture artists who watch me, so please try your best not to cringe when you watch how I make this guy. It took a little bit of tedious work because he's spherical, and when things are round, it's kind of hard to by hand make them perfectly round. He's not perfect, but I mean, he has flaws, and I just accept the flaws because I think that's the best part of handmade stuff in the first place. So if you guys want to see how I made this little guy come into existence, let's get started. So first you see me starting with these foam balls. It was a package of 2. I just needed one, obviously, because Kirby's just a singular ball. I traced a circle, kind of how big I thought the mouth would be. First I did some slices with a razor blade, and I didn't really have a tool that I thought was appropriate for this, so I ended up using a little metal ruler that I had for some reason, and it worked really well. So this hole obviously is just where his mouth is gonna go, and I made it extra big and a little deeper than I wanted because I obviously want room to sculpt the clay. Then I took this armature wire, it's just a bendable wire, and I cut it to matching lengths. I tried to figure out the placement of where his little feet and his hands were, and then I do take them out and I use hot glue, which, you know, thinking about it, might not have been the best choice because hot glue just kind of melts foam. I don't know, it worked, so I won't say that it doesn't work, but I don't think I would do that in the future because the hot glue does melt foam. So I got his little hands and his feet in there. I cut them to the length I thought they would be, and that way he just has a little bit of structure for his feet, so I don't have to worry about him having an issue breaking or something in the future. This is just a little wooden stand. It looks the same as what he's on, but the wooden stand is just kind of to hold the armature of the body. Oh my gosh, and through this video, I did not have a rolling pin, so you're gonna see me doing some weird stuff to get clay flat. I have one now, so don't worry about that, but I did have to press it with my hands or use a little tiny roller. It was ridiculous. So I basically just started by covering his whole body in a layer of thin clay. And I can say after doing something like this, I much prefer clay stuff with texture because it doesn't have to be perfect then. With the round, you have to make him perfect or else he just looks all lumpy. So then I take a thicker pile of clay and I put it on his little feet. My favorite part about air dry clay is how messy it is. It's kind of like, I used to do pottery in high school. I did a lot of pottery in high school, and it has the same sort of properties, at least to me. That's why it's all wet and it's everywhere. It's all over my hands and stuff, because that's just the way that I learned how to use pottery clay, and I'm really glad the air dry clay kind of has the same properties as that. And on his bottom feet, I leave the wire sticking out that's pointed downward so that I can place him on the little armature here and glue him down later. And of course, do the same thing with the little arms. Make a little poof ball of clay and stitch it to the body. The tongue was kind of hard to press in because the clay in there was really wet still, but I did manage to get it to stick. Like I said, don't mind my hair. The beginning of this video and the end of this video were very far apart. Oh, don't even look at this. Sometimes when you're an artist, your brain wants to do the thing that seems logical and not the thing that it sees. So when I think of Kirby, I think he has eyes that would be 3D. But when you actually look at Kirby, he's just flat and he doesn't have 3D eyes. But for some reason, my brain was like, let's give him eyes. So please just ignore his 3D eyes. I take them off later after I realized that, hey, that's not actually what Kirby looks like. And this part, I'm sorry, I don't know how I missed it, but I didn't record sculpting his hat. I got the little ball for the hat and I never recorded sculpting the little horns, so sorry that I missed that. And this is where I realized that Kirby, he just wasn't round enough. The front of his face was kind of flat, and I realized when I was making his face more voluminous, I realized that his eyes needed to go. Add more clay here to make his mouth a little more 3D, and of course achieve more of a round front to his little face. With the little Viking hat, I added little notches on here, little bitty spikes. I don't know, I was going off a picture of like 4 or 5 different hats, so I kind of just made it how I liked each element from each of the hats I was looking at. And this is how I made the little axe. I was worried about it being breakable, so I made it out of cosplay moldable foam, which is kind of just acts like a weird clay. So I just got it wet, stretched it apart, made it into a little axe, and that way you don't really have to worry about this little axe breaking. It's actually pretty flexible. I can just, you know, bop it back and forth and it won't break. There you go, there's the pink hair. Time has passed since the beginning of this video, that's for sure. There's a lot of dust coming off this guy. I probably should have worn my mask when doing this because every time I blew it, it would just poof like that all over the place. And I figured out that, hey, when air dry clay is dry, I can use a hand sander. So that makes me really happy and has helped me a lot with my last clay projects I've done, which I've already done a couple since I recorded this. So much sanding, you guys. This was so long, and I realized after I was over halfway done sanding that I should have put a clock here so you guys could get an actual idea of how long I sanded this thing. I did eventually get tired of hand sanding and I missed some spots, but like I said, I'd rather have my homemade stuff like look like it's homemade than not and be perfect, you know? So whenever I get tired of something and have decided it's good enough, I think it's good enough. Here goes that extremely long stretch of sanding the clock just to get an idea of how long that thing took me. I might complain a little about it, but I'm really happy that I did spend the time because once he was round, at least on the front half, he's more round than the back half. I might not have sanded the back as much. Then I picked up this paint from the store and I thought, oh, this paint is perfect for Kirby. And it's not. It was not perfect for Kirby. It was very bright. And I realized that after like the second or third swipe with the brush, like this is really bright pink. Decided to cover the whole first layer of Kirby with the pink just so that the second layer would go on evenly. And then this pink is really close to Kirby, at least as close as I could get. And I'm actually glad I got that other pink because it worked out for his tongue and all that stuff. Got his little red feet. And I was just going off pictures that I found offline. Obviously I know what Kirby looks like in my head, but sometimes you don't realize like the details or subtleties of something until you have to sculpt it or paint it or something like that, and you really study it, which is, I think, a cool part of doing art. But he has these little tiny dots on his feet that I don't think I ever would have known were there. And then his mouth, I did struggle a little bit with his mouth at first. I couldn't quite find the right shade that I liked, and I did have to go back and forth with the paint because, you know, I rush things sometimes and I'm a little bit sloppy, but I always go back and fix it, at least when I remember to. And the Viking hat, I really liked painting the Viking hat because there was more to it than just like Kirby's pink with a pink tongue, red shoes, you know, it's just block colors. With a Viking hat, you know, it has a little bit of shading, it's got some tiny little details, so I really enjoy painting stuff like that and making it just look cooler than, I don't know, I just like seeing it come to life, I guess. And then when I was almost done with the hat, I decided it's kind of time to do the eyes because I need to see if I've got all this placed correctly. So instead of making 3D eyes like I tried in the beginning, which was completely wrong, I just drew them on with a pencil and then painted them. And this is where, like, it's usually the eyes when your artwork comes to life. Getting the eyes just right is like, it's the best part for me. Of course, I can't do anything without my dog staring at me. And this is my dog Loki. He's a little pirate dog. He's just got the one little eye. So gotta share with you guys the struggles I have to deal with while trying to work. Cute little dog staring at me all day. And Kirby, he's got his little pink cheeks. The pink cheeks and the blue eyes are my favorite part of the whole thing. These are the little dots I was talking about earlier. I never really noticed that he had dots on his feet. Just one of those things you have to really look at something and observe it to see it. Like, I've looked at Kirby my whole life and I've never seen that before. So for his eyes, they kind of are the only part of Kirby that really has shading. So you had to do the blue fade from bottom to top. And the white part is the part that just like, now it's Kirby. And of course, I can't finish it without giving the hat details. I've never actually seen a Kirby Viking. This was like a special, like, hey, try to make this. And I was like, okay, I got you. Let me try. So I decided I'd add some like dark lines and stuff like that because it just went with the cartoony aspect of Kirby. And I'm really glad I did it because it just kind of matches. Looks like it's supposed to be there. But the real question of all this is, what did Kirby have to eat in order to become a Viking? So with the little cosplay foam axe, I let it dry and then I colored it with just acrylic paint, same stuff. And then as soon as Kirby's paint dried, I took him outside and gave him a coat of clear spray. It's just clear spray paint that I put on the outside of him. And then I glued his little foam axe to his hand. Then I got a new base for him. And I wanted to stain it just so that it looked a little more professional than like the dry wood base anyway. What I actually wanted to do was make like a Super Smash Bros. Coin to stick him on, but I don't remember what happened. This was like 6 months ago. I changed my mind for some reason. Then I just measured where his little feet went and drilled holes. Using E6000, I stuck glue in the holes. I don't show, but I also stuck glue on his little metal feet bits when I tucked him in there and just cleaned up the edges so that it would dry and you couldn't see the glue. Look at him, he's so cute. This is one of my favorite things I've made. I know he's just kind of like just a little basic Kirby, but he's got life. Definitely inspired me to do more clay stuff, so of course you're gonna see more. I've already made a whole nother clay project since this, and I'm done with it, and you'll see it eventually when I have time to edit. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you love the Kirby. Let me know a weird combination of something that you love that would be cool to see come to life, because that's really what I like to make, is just something unique. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe to see my future videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!